Believe it or not, the Fantastic Four is a franchise that's been rebooted 4 times, and I'm happy to say that ironically, it looks like they got it right on the 4th time. Because not only is this the best version of the Fantastic Four, but this has got to be one of the most enjoyable Marvel movies I've seen in years. And because it's technically not connected to the MCU yet, I didn't have to watch 3 movies and 5 shows to understand where this fits in on the timeline. And not to point out how low the bar is, but what a relief to just have a solid movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe again. But with that being said, we know that after watching the famous Chair Watch trailer, this is probably going to be the last time we see these characters in their own universe. And I'm sure that there's going to be people who haven't seen the movie and probably aren't going to because they think that the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts connects to the ending of this movie. And if you have that thought, coming from someone who has seen the movie, I'll tell you right now, it doesn't. Which, in my opinion, that does get me excited to know what's going to happen next for these characters and how things can go so wrong for them that they have to jump to a whole different universe. And with Avengers Doomsday not coming out for another year and a half, unless they push it back further, in this video, I wanted to share my prediction of how I think the Fantastic Four will end up in the MCU, because as mentioned, we do know from watching the Thunderbolts that they do get there eventually, but we just don't know how. And this probably goes without saying, but full spoilers ahead for the ending of the Fantastic Four First Steps. And make sure you do bookmark this video, because when Avengers Doomsday does come out, I want to see how close I came to the real thing. But with all that being said, let's get into it. So during the movie Fantastic Four, the concept of teleportation was created, and when the Silver Surfer announced that the planet was going to be destroyed, the plan Reed Richards came up with to avoid Galactus was essentially to teleport the planet to a different universe. And just when it seemed like it was going to work, the Silver Surfer came in and destroyed the devices that were built around the world to teleport the planet, and it forced them to come up with another plan on the spot. And they decided that they were going to use the last teleporting device that was left to send Galactus to another part of the universe. And with the help from the Silver Surfer, the heroes did manage to save the day and their planet. But then, during the post-credit scene, there's a 4-year time jump and we see Sue Storm reading a book to Franklin, who's now 4 years old. And when she gets up to get another book, after turning her back for less than 2 minutes, when she gets back to her son, we would see what looks like Dr. Doom standing in the home and showing his face to Franklin Richards, then credits. So the first question we need to tackle is, how did Doom get inside the home? Well, like I mentioned earlier, the movie did revolve around teleportation, and as far as I'm aware, Victor Von Doom is just as smart as Reed Richards, so it is possible that during the 4-year time jump, while the Fantastic Four was being celebrity superheroes, Doom was busy perfecting his teleportation technology and making sure that it doesn't take an entire planet's worth of energy to make it work, because yeah, that is a plot point in the movie. So once he had his teleportation platform ready, he heads straight to the Baxter building, because understanding that if someone as powerful as Galactus wanted the child, Doom would have a plan to transfer Franklin's powers into himself and making Doom the most powerful person in the multiverse. So I would think that shortly after the post-credit scene, when Sue Storm confronts him, Doom would put his mask back on to face her, and he would give her a speech about all the things that kids would do for their parents. And while she thinks that this is something relating to what Franklin does for her, this would really be something that Doom is going to do for his own mother. Which, side note, I know that Dr. Doom has a very complicated backstory, but for this video, we're just going to go with the one where his mom is in hell for reasons, and Doom made a promise to her that he's going to free her. So after he says what he needs to say to Sue Storm, right before she can use her powers to grab a hold of him, he instantly teleports himself and the kid back to Latveria. And maybe shortly after, Ben, Reed, and Johnny would arrive and they find Franklin gone and Sue crying on the ground that a random man just took their child. But with the entire house having cameras, and not to mention Herbie the robot, Reed Richards would find out how and where this person teleported and get their child back. But over with Doom and Franklin, once he was able to get the kid hooked into the machine to drain his power, the process would begin, and as Doom is feeling the power of cosmic coursing through his body, he begins to see everything. The world, the universe, even the sacred timeline. And just as the transfer is nearly complete, he sees something coming that he cannot stop. Someone who shares the same power of cosmic as Franklin, Galactus. And right now, he's emerging from a portal just outside the atmosphere. And at the same time, the Fantastic Four would have just landed and they would be tearing through hundreds of Doom bots to get their son. So as the last of Franklin's powers are now inside Doom, the Latverian king would use the teleportation platform combined with his new powers and he just disappears, leaving behind Franklin, Latveria, and the world which will soon be destroyed by Galactus. And when the Fantastic Four make it to where Franklin is, they would see him unconscious and strapped to a machine, but he's okay. And while on their way back, they would get an alert saying that Galactus has returned and he's currently in orbit. And with them severely being underprepared for his return, it wouldn't be an easy decision to make, but they would have no choice but to race to their ship and escape the planet before it's destroyed. And as much as they want to try to save everyone, all they can do is save themselves. So as they escape with literal seconds to spare, they would all watch as Galactus destroys their world. And it would seem that during his time away, the Shalabal Silver Surfer was killed, and he got himself a new herald, a man named Norrin Radd. And right now, he's speeding towards the ship that the Fantastic Four are in to get a hold of the child. So without any time to mourn or grieve, the heroes would jump into Lightspeed to try to get away. But the Surfer would be right on their trail, and with them knowing that they can't outrun him forever, Reed comes up with a 1 in a billion chance idea to fly headfirst into a black hole at light speed with the hopes that another universe will be on the other side. I mean, it's a crazy idea, but it just might be crazy enough to work. But with that looking like a pure suicide move from the Surfer's point of view, he would just watch as the ship is swallowed up by the darkness of the black hole. We would then pick up at the post-credit scene for the Thunderbolts, where they just received an alert saying that an interplanetary ship has just entered their atmosphere. And while watching it on the screen to try to figure out where it even came from, the Thunderbolts would get a surprise in the form of a man that looks eerily similar to Tony Stark. And from there, who can really say how the story's gonna go? Because as of recording this video, I did read an article that says that Avengers Doomsday is having a real problem trying to figure out how they want the story to end. So it's anyone's guess when it comes to that movie. But as far as how everything would get into motion, I think until the movie comes out, this may be exactly how the Fantastic Four ends up in the MCU and how Doctor Doom even comes in the picture. But hey, not to pull a Matt Pat, but that's just a theory. But now I want to hear from you guys. What do you think of this idea? Does it sound like something that could happen in Avengers Doomsday? Or maybe you have a better idea on how things would transpire? Whatever it is, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. And who knows, maybe we can continue this story with a part 2 and make our own version of the movie. But that'll do it for me on this video, guys. I'll catch you next time. Until then, my name is Merge. Later.
What time is it, Ben?
No, Johnny.
Say it!
I don't wanna!